Yeah, so he's coral around his neck to ward off evil. This is actually the signature as well. Mm.
Also in the depictions of the clouds, which have become very stylized, these sort of curving forms. This is a really interesting group. It actually shows the influence of sculpturics. It makes the proportions look right. Yeah. He actually also does it a little bit with the faces, the way the eye.
For me, not them, they don't need to walk, but no one really. He's very sweet, and grade 6, going on 16, and he's happy. And so, when suddenly you just think, oh my gosh.
Hello, control. This is Sean from
In the late 18th century, the painting entered the collection of the Earls of Warwick, and it hung at Warwick Castle for over 200 years. Now, interestingly, during that time, in the 18th century, it was made up into a full length, possibly by Reynolds and his workshop, to show the sitter in full-length format, and that was so that it could be hung alongside other full-length portraits that the family already owned. And it was only in 2016 that the portrait was reduced to its original three-quarter-length format, and that the retouchings that had been applied when the additions had been made were removed, and that the true brilliance of Van Dyck's original handling of the paint became apparent. Yes, so gold ground was something that was used a lot in the 13th and 14th century, and it was something that was then abandoned in the 15th century, which is with the birth of the Renaissance, because as magical and ethereal as the effect is, in the 15th century, when artists are moving towards a greater sense of naturalism and realism in their paintings, that counters that effect, because in the Renaissance, artists are trying to create, with single-point perspective, a sense of receding into space and being able to sort of, almost go into a painting that goes into depth. The gold ground comes forward.
So here we have the coronation of the Virgin, which is one of the scenes of the life of the Virgin, which doesn't have any biblical source. There's actually relatively little said about the Virgin in the Bible. But in the 12th and 13th centuries, there was this movement where people wanted to feel that they knew more about her. And so there was this creation of different scenes that became sort of standard scenes in the life of the Virgin. And this is the final one, after she's died, after she's been assumed up into heaven, and she's now being crowned as the Queen of Heaven.